Former U.S. Marine Daniel Penny turned himself in today in New York City after he was charged for manslaughter in the murder of Jordan Neely. Now remember, this took place in New York City on a subway train station. Neely was arrested for a second-degree manslaughter. He appeared in a Manhattan criminal court before Judge Kevin McGrath set bail at $100,000. Following Penny's surrender, the attorneys for the Neely family held a news conference discussing what they want to happen, and they are fight for justice.
What happened in the subway that day?
First of all, what is this?
He's going to come up with more and more things to make himself look better, because that's the only way that he can escape the consequences of what he did. But I tell you one thing, he cannot rewrite how the story ends. The story ends with his arms wrapped around Jordan's neck, choking him to death. And that's what he has to pay for. Those are the consequences that we cannot allow in our society. We cannot allow that type of aggression on a whim's notice. We cannot allow that type of judgment, and we cannot allow that type of crime to happen without consequence.
Now, Penny claims he stepped in an act of self-defense when Neely threatened him and others aggressively. However, some witnesses say that Neely was not specifically threatening Penny when he intervened. Now, the reality is he could have detained him, but he literally choked the life out of his body. Of course, this video has been shown all over the country. People that were shocked and stunned to literally see Jordan Neely die at the hands of Neely. The state's self-defense law allows people to use deadly force if they believe their life or someone else's life is at imminent risk. Penny is due back in court for another hearing on July 17th. Joining us right now is Gregory Jose, defense attorney out of New York. Gregory, how you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
All right, so let's unpack this here, because a lot of people, there are different state laws when it comes to self-defense. We are very familiar with stand your ground law. So walk people through what the law is there in the state of New York.
Well, in New York State, there's a portion of the penal law called justification, and it's the circumstances under which a person can use physical force or deadly physical force to repel an attack in defense of themselves or a third person. Now,
the issue that Penny has here, there were other people who were on this train station. Nobody else choked the life out of Jordan Neely.
Well, now this case has moved from the court of public opinion to the court of law, and as such, the laws and statutes of New York governing the use of force are going to apply. And one of the things that the law indicates is that if a person reasonably believes that they or a third person is in danger of imminent physical harm or imminent serious physical injury or imminent death, then the use of force becomes authorized. The key words in that statute are reasonable, and that's an issue that will be sorted out during the course of an investigation. It was a subway car with a number of people aboard, so the authorities will be interviewing individuals, and then those individuals will more than likely be asked to give testimony in a grand jury to determine whether or not probable cause exists for Mr. Penny to be charged with manslaughter. At the opening of your show, you indicated that Mr. Penny had been indicted. My information is that he hasn't been indicted. He's been arrested, and now under New York state law, the district attorney's office has 180 days to vote. The grand jury has that period of time to vote an indictment against him. So right now the process begins where testimony will be sought from the people who were present and possibly from Mr. Penny to determine whether or not probable cause exists to actually indict him on that felony charge for which he was initially arrested today.
So as we look at this, first of all, they have video. Prosecutors have video in this case. What they don't have is, one, you don't have a situation where Neely had a gun, had a knife, And so when you talk about this imminent physical harm, if you are Penny's defense attorney, how do you deal with that when you don't have a weapon and when there are other people on there as well who didn't do what he did?
Well, it's a very fact-specific analysis, and again, the issue is the only opinions that count, or judgment that counts, is going to be that of the individuals in the grand jury who are going to hear the evidence firsthand from the parties that were directly involved or who were witnesses to the acts that took place. And it's going to be a question of reasonableness. Would a reasonable person have felt that they were in danger of imminent physical harm? And was the response reasonable under the circumstances?
And Gregory, when you say reasonable, it's also you're factoring in the amount of time he literally was choking him.
And exactly, it's fact specific. So all of those factors are going to be analyzed by the grand jury. The conduct of the deceased, the reactions of the people, the other passengers in the subway car, their perception of a threat or their perception that there was no imminent threat. So, like I said, it's a very, very, very fact-specific analysis. And, grand jury proceedings are secret. So the public will not be privy to the actual testimony of the parties in the grand jury.
All right, then, Gregory, look, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. We'll certainly be following this case to see what happens next from Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's office. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.